My basic mantra was करना है तो करना है, otherwise देखना भी नहीं है. First thing is you have to balance all the aspects of your syllabus. Just believe in the process that whatever you are doing and leave rest things apart. So because if you are sincere about the process, somehow in the long run it will be helping you.
वेलकम टू यूपीएससी अखाड़ा। आज हमारे साथ हैं पुलकित, CSU 2020 में रैंक 26 लाने वाले। पुलकित, वेलकम। हाउ आर यू फीलिंग राइट नाउ?
Thank you, sir. I'm feeling well, very good. In fact, it has been more than a month now, so all the feelings have sunk by this time. So it's good. It's a feeling of relief right now, and I am looking forward for further things.
Nice, very nice. As I followed your Telegram channel, I read various posts by you, and in one post I read, it's been a decade-long journey for Pulkit to achieve this goal, rank 26 in CSC 2020. So how was that experience? What makes you to keep yourself motivated for so long time? This is your third attempt and third interview. So what is the reason? What is the fire inside? What is that fire? So could you please give us a
Sir, I think in this regard, I consider it is a decade-long journey because although it was just my third attempt, because somehow this idea of going for civil services came for me around my first year, and that time I gave some thought around it, but in between then I just got involved with my graduation. Sometimes a thought came, and in between, if I'm talking about these 3 attempts that I have given, I have taken break in between them also. So if I talk about the motivation, for me one thing was clear, if I have to do it, I'll do it, otherwise I won't even pursue it. So my basic mantra was करना है तो करना है, otherwise देखना भी नहीं है. So if I was getting if I'm not getting any other opportunity better than this, so I'll definitely pursue it, and I'll give all my efforts. Earlier also I had given all my efforts into it, but unfortunately I was not, maybe there was some deficiency on my part, so I was not cracking into the list, but my efforts have been consistent throughout.
Nice. So one thing we came to know, the consistency with 100% dedication is the mantra behind Pulkit success. So okay, now the first thing I would like to ask regarding this exam is about the randomness of prelims. This year also UPSC as usual come up with a surprise in CSAT. The paper of GS is also quite out of the league, I could say. Some questions are from the sports. There are more questions from science, and which is quite applied. So how to tackle this randomness with it?
So my suggestion is don't go about the randomness.
Okay.
If I talk, I give a very statistical analysis of the things around it.
Fine.
If we talk about the last 3 to 4 years, we are having a cutoff around 95 plus minus 5%.
True.
So if that is the trend going about, things don't change in one particular year. It will take some time to change it. So if you are talking about 95 plus minus 5%, so that gives you a range of around 90 to 100, that your cutoff will be in this range. And if you want to be on the safe side, target in between around 110. If I talk about 110, it comes down to 55 correct answers after taking out all the incorrect also. So this is the first thing, that don't go about attempting the entire 100 questions, first thing.
Okay.
And there is a reason also behind it. Everyone has an ego. The examiner is also sitting there with an ego. So
Fine.
my first approach always is to first find out those particular questions which are there to satisfy the examiner's ego, which he doesn't want me to even attempt.
Okay.
So if you are talking about, every year it happens, there will be 2-3 questions. This year questions came from sports. It's not that examiner was specifically looking for something substantial had happened in those events. Examiner is just giving you a thing. He's just giving you that moment. He wants to see you that how you will behave in this particular scenario. And I believe if you just take out those 10-15 questions and then you attempt the remaining 85, and if you are having an accuracy of even around 80%, you will be easily sailing through it.
Okay.
So you need to focus on what you can do rather than worrying about what is beyond your preparation limit. And at the end of the day, it's just a qualifying exam. You have to just qualify it. Whether you get 150 or whether you get just half a marks above the qualifying, it doesn't matter in the next stage.
Okay, Pulkit. Now prelims result is out, and we have only 60 days for mains this year. So what should be the strategy? And in strategy, I specifically ask, what are the don'ts for next 60 days? Like there are a lot of things we should not do. So could you please elaborate on this point? What should not be done in next 60 days?
Okay, sir, right. As you are giving a definite target in terms of 60 days,
Yeah.
so I'll just focus on what needs to be done. Then from that we can come
Yeah,
about
okay,
on the
okay.
don'ts also. Like first thing is you have to balance all the aspects of your syllabus. Like you need not focus just on one particular, or like you are just doing optional or you are just doing your GS. We should not be doing like that. We
Okay.
should be giving equal weightage to all the syllabus things that are mentioned in it. And you have this one thing clear. You have to score at least an average marks in a given subject.
Okay.
So my first don't will be, don't be obsessive about a particular subject or particular theme in that. Give complete balance on this regard. Next don't will be, don't worry so much about answer writing. Right? You need to balance your answer writing with your readings.
Okay.
And third don't will be, don't be obsessive again about current affairs, because UPSC is asking you questions which are not, which you cannot answer entirely from current affairs. You need to know this, right? So you need not go into a mode where you are reading 2 to 3 newspapers every day, and then you're not having time to spend on your other aspects.
Okay.
So these will be my 3 4 don'ts in this regard, and my major mantra will be try to balance out all what is given in the syllabus,
Okay.
and rest leave on the destination where you are scoring well, and where you are like just avoid the scenario where you are underperforming.
So it's very clear from our conversation, like balancing static with current, reading and writing should be at par with each other. So we can easily sail through this mains obstacle like Pulkit did. Okay, Pulkit, now talking further about mains. Essay and ethics are quite unpredictable, and we really are not able to make its foolproof strategy. I think you can appreciate that. I also appreciate that. So, how to tackle these two exams, especially?
Okay, sir, I'll first talk about essay. Like the unpredictability that we are talking about essay right now is about the part B, where they have started giving philosophical oriented quotations or questions oriented around
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Part A, like I'm not very sure whether it is the part A where they are asking the quotation of the part B, but in one part they are asking this
Right.
quotation thing. So you need to prepare from that aspect. And if you talk right now, this is happening since last 3 years. So in this you are having a kind of trend whereby one part is focusing on the quotational aspect
Yeah.
or the philosophical aspect. So you need to derive from that aspect. Your simple strategy should be like first identify the syllabus in which you are dealing with this. So that comes down to a GS4. So give us analysis around it, why the examiner has given that, and then try to find out anecdotes around it, find out examples around it from the remaining part of the syllabus, right? And yeah, again speaking, it will be these kind of topics are very subjective, right? It depends upon a lot of factors, even on the state of the examiner who is reading, because truly speaking, these are very subjective in nature when we talk about these kind of topics. So you need to take that thing in consideration,
Okay.
and what is not under your control, you cannot worry much about it. Right? So that will be my first analysis regarding the essay. And second is regarding the ethics. Yeah, really I'll appreciate, especially the case studies that we have seen in the last 2 years. They're quite unconventional. Because if I say like earlier in the case studies we were having some kind of ethical dilemma.
Yeah.
Now there is no dilemma, right? But that is not something is helpful for the candidate. In fact, they are not able to appreciate what to write now. Like otherwise they get some kind of direction in that.
Yeah.
So that as a candidate you have to find out now like what should be your appropriate strategy. And that will be something like UPSC is known for its unpredictability. Now this is through which it will be checking your aptness on the scenario basis approach or the
Yeah,
reaction
but
by a
means
candidate.
in that scenario you create a dilemma and then solve it.
Yeah,
As simple as that.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. We can have that particular approach.
So now moving further in mains only, the importance of notes making for this means from a mains perspective. How to approach that? Are note making is really necessary or this is just a hula bow for them?
Sir, what I believe note making is necessary. There might be candidate who might be doing it without note making, but personally I have felt like because of the vastness of the syllabus and the nature of things that have been asked, you need to have note making. And again you need to appreciate the philosophy behind note making. When you're doing note making, you're trying to just summarize or consolidate whatever you read into a limited part. And this is something what UPSC is looking. You have to write just 2 pages on a given topic. It doesn't matter whether you have read 3 novels on that particular topic, but there you are getting only just 2 sheets, 3 sheets to display whatever you know about it. So consolidation becomes very important. Hence, I give high regard to note making in this regard. And now coming about note making, what I believe is you should develop certain structures around the topics, or certain you can say mind maps, or certain ways where you can recall a particular thing, where you can recall particular dimensions on a particular topic. So that will be very helpful in terms of giving comprehensiveness and multiple dimensions to the answers.
Okay. So notes should be in 2 pages, well structured, consist of good diagrams with crop quotations and all the ingredients which are required for a worthy marks fetching answer. That should be your notes.
Yes, definitely.
To add on, Pulkit is coming up with his books, which are more or less his notes, which he prepared during his preparation. So please do collect that copy to enrich your marks in the upcoming mains. Okay, Pulkit. Now, next aspect is the optional in mains. Like you have mechanical engineering and you scored fairly well in that. So, just few lines on the strategy, how to approach that. Is it can is it worthy to opt for that optional? So just throw some light on that.
See, although it's my optional, it's very close to me, and I give high regard to mechanical engineering as a subject. But if I give a very fair analysis from the exam's perspective, one needs to give a very clear thought about before taking this option. I'll be very honest about it. I'd not given much thought about taking an optional because earlier I'd qualified my engineering services examination, so this became a quite a default option for me. But in InterSite, I'll give you a very fair analysis because the syllabus that here we are having is very vast. So it is not affecting just your optional; it also affects your other GS preparation also. So if you are going about it, be very careful about it. That you will be spending a lot of time on it, and at the same time you have to balance your other part of the syllabus also. So that will be my advice to anyone who is opting for this, because see, I am speaking from the statistical aspect. If we talk about the top ranks in last few years, you will find very few people cracking with this, because as such it's not that they are not having a command on their optional subject. Challenge comes with up to balancing the other parts of the syllabus. So that thing you should be very careful when you are opting for an option of this kind. And then talking about strategy, for engineering optionals, relatively it's easier to prepare. If you are ready to give the time that it requires, and if you have a kind of background, you have to just refer the standard UGC recommended books for the various topics. You need not refer the foreign authors or the kind of authors that you usually refer, but you have to solve the solved problems that are given in those books. And at the same time, you have to also work on the theory aspect. Again, I'll stress this: engineering background students, especially when it comes to engineering as an optional, we relatively neglect the theory part that comes, and it is around 70 to 80 marks in a 250 marks paper. We do not give much stress on it, and it highly affects the overall score also. So these will be my 2-3 point, like basic points if you are opting such an optional that you should be careful about before going into this.
Now moving further, I stick to mains because now it's the center point for the preparation for the aspirants. So what is the role of guidance mentorship for this phase of the exam?
Sir, guidance as such, I find it very relevant. I can just quote from my background. Like, for me, your efforts are like a vector. Right?
Okay.
So it's not only the kind of magnitude you are having in it, it also depends upon the direction that you are giving. Right?
I just like to interrupt, sorry for that. थोड़ा आसान भाषा में.
Okay, sir.
Every
Okay, sir, I got it, sir.
non-scientific background might not able to relate it, so
Okay, sir.
little easy.
Okay,
I
sir.
request.
So what I'm trying to say is that when you are making efforts, it is also important that you also see that whether your efforts are in the right direction or not. You should have a kind of feedback mechanism, right? Everywhere it is true. If you are having a good feedback mechanism, that will be helping you in terms of rectifying the mistakes that you are doing, appreciating what you are doing good. So I believe that this guidance plays a role in that regard, or the mentor plays a very significant role in that regard. So if you are not having that mechanism on your own, then go for a mentor. But if you can develop this kind of a role on your own, or if you can have a peer group which is giving this particular role, then you need not go also. But again, it comes as a personal choice.
And now there's a more or less mentor culture is developing in UPSC preparation. So, what are the qualities of a mentor you want to tell this for the future aspirants so they can simply select a good mentor for them? Because nowadays it's a market. So it's up to the consumer or the aspirant who select or not select that particular person as his or her mentor. So what are the qualities of a mentor you think?
Okay, so I'll just think about a few on this. Like first, I think the role here is more about keeping the student motivated in this regard, like
Okay.
what he has to do, giving him the targets that the student must be doing, giving him a kind of schedule that he is doing.
Okay.
And at the same time, I believe like it as it goes with any field or whenever you are in the market in this regard, you should also have an assurance of quality regarding the product that you are going for it.
Okay.
So for me, it's again a product. If you are going for this kind of thing, be assured about the person or the XYZ thing that you are looking as a mentor. Be assured about whether truly they deliver what they promise. And I believe this kind of things doesn't are not hidden for a long. You'll get to know about soon rather than later. So these are the few things like very basic things that you can take into consideration if you have to really go about this mentorship program.
Okay. Now coming to answer writing, like as I know you used to write on daily basis.
Yes, sir.
So what approach should be adopted? It should be daily basis answer writing, or you completely write full net tests or the weekends. So what is the better way to write answers?
Sir, again, answering better way will be very difficult for me, but I can analyze both the aspects. Like if you're going about daily answer writing, you develop a kind of schema over a period of time whereby you are able to know or where you are able to have this feedback mechanism. You can know on daily basis like where you are lagging. The next day you can try to resolve it. The next time again you can try to resolve it, and it happens over a period of time. So from that scenario, it's helpful. And if you talk about full length test, again it's become important. Like I found out one like deficiency again this in this regard this time is that I did not write much full test exams.
Okay.
So as a result of which I could not develop that time management that was required for writing a full test exam. So again it has to be like we have to balance out again both the aspects.
Okay. Like daily answer writing means developing a schema, and writing full length test means time management skill
Right.
can be acquired.
It will give you a kind of simulation of the thing that you will be doing on the D day.
Means a healthy mix of both will help you out in this answer
Definitely,
writing
sir.
approach.
Definitely, sir.
It's a very good learning for me also. And now moving further, now we have talked about prelims also, mains also. Now let's talk about our mental status, because it's a very long marathon. It's not a sprint. So we have to be mentally stable, mentally balanced to maintain the consistency, to stay optimistic, to give our 100% with our dedication. So it really takes a big emotional toll. So how you manage all these mental turbulence inside?
Sir, we do face these kind of challenges. Like, but for me, it has been very simple. Like, if you're going into this state of mind, what you need is you should just distract yourself from that thought. You just need to find out a mechanism whereby you can distract yourself. It could be engaging yourself in some kind of hobby, going out, going for traveling, something like from where you can bring out yourself of that particular thought which you believe is negatively affecting you. It could be like if a person is troubling you because of that, just shunt that particular person, or if a particular event is affecting you, just try to go over it. Right? So my basic approach was regarding this. If you are having any issue like this, and if still you are not able to resolve it, then definitely you can go for some professional help also in this regard, because to be very honest, like we are not able to appreciate the kind of issue someone might be facing. So in
Very
that
true.
scenario, if these things are not you are not able to resolve at your personal level, then at the end of the day you should be looking for a professional advice also in this case.
Like what I get from it is your preventive measures to stay motivated is to take hobby breaks or stay away from the negativity, whether it's an event or a person. In case of any issue, you can go for some professional help. It is a curative measure. So these are the very simple ways to stay motivated, to stay happy, and stay charged for this exam. Right now, I think I have asked enough of questions. Pulkit. Anything you want to share or you want to tell the future aspirants, please? Otherwise. That's all from my end.
So I'll just share this one message like just believe in the process that whatever you're doing and leave rest things apart. So because if you are sincere about the process, somehow in the long run it will be helping you. Like unfortunately, if you're not able to go through this process, but still it will be helping you because of the kind of diverse experiences that you'll be having in terms of new learnings.
Right.
And if you're sincere throughout it, definitely you'll be doing something good and maybe you'll maybe at times doing better than the kind of opportunities you might even get from it. So just believe in the process, go about it, and just give your sincere efforts in this regard. So that will be my the only message that I'd like to give in the end, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was very nice meeting and interacting with UPSC Akada in this regard, and it was a very good experience for me to be sitting here also and talking with you.
Yeah, Pulkit is also available on YouTube with his channel and Telegram also. You can subscribe his channel also. Description box have his all details of channel on Telegram and YouTube also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.